Hey gang, Ronan here. Welcome on back to the Retrocade and our 40th episode of Sports Saturday, and even more crucially, episode number 199 on this channel that we started, back in 2020 at the height of the pandemic, just to have something to do to pass the time. And before we put this series on the shelf for a little bit, of which I will get to in a moment, we're going to go and play in honor of the ongoing Ryder Cup tournament between the U.S. and the rest of the world that's happening over in Rome, Italy right now. We're going to play Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2005 for the PS2, which is considered one of the best golf games of the 6th generation, and also really caught the overwhelming popularity of and dominance of Tiger Woods in the early part of this century. Now, it's crazy to sit there and say that it's fully possible that I may be showing this video to people who don't know who Tiger Woods is or what it was like to be covering sports at a time when he was ruling the PGA Tour. But the importance of Tiger Woods to the sport of golf in the late 20th and early 21st century genuinely cannot be overstated, for reasons that I will also elaborate on as we go through this episode. So, as you see, it is broken up into a couple of different modes. You have you can just play an ordinary round of golf now. You can do My Legend Pursuit, which is pretty much the career mode in this game, which is my favorite part of this game. You can do stroke play. You can do traditional matches. You can do best ball, 4-ball, things like that. You have real-time events, which now that this game is going on 20 years old, you're not going to be able to do that now, only because the PS2 doesn't have any of the connectivity to any servers for this game. You can do Battle Golf, which I've never played, but it is very much a two-player match play style of game. You can do Skill Zone, where you can do different skill events utilizing your players that you can create, or, like I said, you can go ahead and do the My Legend Pursuit. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop into that. Now, I will tell you that I only started this because in order to get this game going, you have to go through the how to play, which is a really long and fairly frustrating thing that just shows you how the controls work. So I bypassed all that as part of my way to make sure that this game works on my emulator, which again is PCSXR2, which is a free emulator, and then we are going to just dive on in. Now, you can do different things here in My Legend Pursuit, where you can do what's called a Legend Tour, where you will take on classic and legendary golfers like Arnold Palmer, Seve Ballesteros, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, and Jack Nicklaus, who are the 5 golfers underneath, and then there's obviously Tiger up top. You have to unlock them as you go, as you play different things, and then you can play the actual PGA Tour season based on what is all here. So we are going to play one round and one round only of golf, I promise you, on this one, to show you how it works. Because I have not played a golf game on Sports Saturday since we did the original PGA Tour from EA Sports for the Sega Genesis, I want to say about 6-7 months ago. And we actually ended up playing through the entire tournament because winning tournaments is so hard on that game that I didn't want to stop and I didn't want to end it because I wanted to keep going. Well, the episode, if you looked at it, runs about 90 minutes, which is 3 times longer than I want it to usually run. Now, you get a series of major and minor tournaments in this. Now, if you're not familiar with golf, there are 4 major tournaments. There is the Masters, there is the US Open, the British Open, also known as the Open Championship, and the PGA Championship. And it used to be they would go in that order, but now they've changed the calendar around where I think it's the Masters, the PGA, the US Open, and the British Open is now the last one. And you can add in stuff like getting tips to be able to do different things with your shot. I'm going to just take that out. And then if you want to be able to see where your shot is going to go, you hold down the X button and it gives you this elevated view of what you can look down the course with. And then you use the directional buttons to move your shot which way you want it to move. Now, things to keep in mind is that if you look down at the bottom, it gives you essentially your HUD, where you have the club you're selecting, you have the distance it can go, you have your wind gauge, which is that little 2 miles an hour arrow, and you're on the tee, which means you're going to hit it flush. And then the gauge out there where the location is the height that you're aiming at relative to where you are standing. So sometimes it can be above you, sometimes it can be below you. You can press L1 for a gameplay hint, and that will give you tips. But here's where this game really was one that I started to like, and is that they changed the swing mechanics back in, I believe, the 2000 version, from using the X button to start your swing, hit the top of the swing, and then hit it at the right time, to just doing it utilizing your control sticks. Now, you can do it with the left stick, or I prefer to do it with the right stick because you get a little bit more control with it. So we are just going to rear back and fire off a shot.
This should play nicely.
And see where it goes. Now, the ball only went 241 yards. It could have gone further. Now what we're looking at is out there is the flag over on the green. And I want to be able to move this just a little bit to account for the wind. Now, if you want to boost your shot, because we're still hitting it with a driver, which we shouldn't be. So you can cycle through your clubs using the R1 or the R2 button. So by and large, you don't want to hit it with a second shot with your driver, and we don't want to put it in the sand, which is that white stuff out there.
Here comes the 3-wood.
And you can move the ball forward, or you control the spin by using the L2 button and pushing up or down. The harder you push the button, the more rotation you will get on the ball. So now we just want to be able to chip it up onto the green.
That looked like a good swing there.
We want to give it a little bit of spin. That way it will back up, or at least won't go rolling past the hole. And now we've got a 7-foot putt to hopefully get par.
Well, right-handers will love this one.
And it will give you this dotted line that you can follow. Now, it will tell you that it's okay, it's 8 inches short and 9 inches right. So if it's short, you want to push the shot out a little bit further to compensate for that. And you also want to take into account what's called the break, which is the natural slope of the green. And then you just pull it back, let it go. Oh, we lipped it. So it wasn't short, we just lipped it off the side of the hole.
Makes his par.
So actually it was a par 5 hole. And we ended up getting par. Now, the reviews for this game are actually really good, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to play it. The overall Metacritic score is about 80%. The PS2 version and the Xbox original version both came in at 88 out of 100. The PC was the highest ranked at 91 out of 100. The GameCube version also got an 88, where the PSP and the DS got a 78 and a 64, respectively. All right, so let's see if we can get some actual
This looks good. It's down the middle.
drive here. Now, you can boost your power by tapping the L1 button to give it a little bit of extra oomph. But you don't, especially if you're trying to shoot into the wind, you want to be able to get more power out of it. We don't have to worry about the wind here, so I'm just going to go straight at it and hope for the best.
Should do the trick here.
Ooh, this looks good. If we get this cutscene, that's a good sign. Drop it, let it roll. Oh, it's going to matriculate up near the hole. It's not going to go in.
Well, I didn't see that.
But you want that. We get a $500 bonus for doing so, and we're 2 feet away from the jar. And we get ourselves a birdie. So we're 1 under through 2 holes.
This beautiful par 3 rests along the beaches of Lake Coeur d'Alene, providing breathtaking views of the lake. The safe play is to aim for the right of the green.
Well, you need to be able to jerk on this one's leash. Too bad you can't do it.
I do like the fact that they had the golf commentator David Fairty supplying the play-by-play for this, because his wit is what makes this fun. Now it should roll. Nope, didn't have enough to get there. Now sometimes if that happens, you have to pick a different club. You've got to go up a club. And for this one, I want to scale this back. Now, with a lob wedge, you can't go any lower in terms of a club with this, except for a putter, and you're not going to putt it from this far off the green. So I don't want to have to hit it full strength, but I want to get it up enough that I can get it on the green and get close to the holes. So you got to kind of go halfway, pitch it up, and that's exactly what we wanted because we're 3 feet from the hole.
Here to save par. Par for the
now, when this game came out, again, I don't play golf in my real life. I did a little bit when I was a kid, kind of out of self-defense, because my old man played golf. But we were never good at it, and I don't have the patience. I didn't have the patience then to play it. And unfortunately, my back is such now that I don't really have the structural integrity to be able to handle the torque. Oh, we blasted this ball to get that cutscene. So hopefully we didn't put it in the rough, but we did. So it went right through the fairway and into the first cut of the rough. So now we've got to go 7 feet up and pitch it onto the green.
I see the ball and I see the sand and I
we put it right in the sand. So now we really got to get it up there. And it just rolled off, but we can putt it from here. Now, here's where what they see on the HUD, you've got what's called Tiger Vision. So we got to go 2 feet 1 inch long. I think it would be about here. Now, how you can tell is if you hit the R1 button, this will give you an idea of where to put the marker so you can actually try to make the putt. And it's in the hole. Now, like you said, you've only got so many times you can utilize that in a round. So I don't believe I can use it anymore in this round. But it was one of the advances in this game that came out as opposed to its predecessors, especially going all the way back to the 90s, that made it a bit more accessible to people and also made it more fun. Because that's the thing about most golf games, is that, yeah, it's, if you like golf, then...
It's headed for the rough, but it might not be too bad.
Oh! We hit it off the rocks. I thought that had more to it.
No. sitting up sweetly right on the surface of the sand. Should be able to get this one close.
So now we are definitely putting for a bogey here. Whoop, there we go. Now I want to be able to just get my chip back on. Now, if you use the circle button, you can be a bit more exacting with it. It doesn't guarantee you're going to get it, but it makes it a little bit easier. So let's see if we get this. Nope, we pushed it right by the hole.
Unlucky there.
So now we go straight in, and it's a double bogey. So now we're one over.
The sixth hole offers...
So now that we use the circle button, now we can go a little bit further and see what our options are. So I'm going to go for the 6-iron, and I'm going to move it out this way.
Should be making a safe landing on the green.
And I'm going to use my backspin to keep it from going off the green. But now we have a long putt. And these were always the interesting bit, is that can you get it in the proximity of where you want it to be, where you know you can get in the hole. So I figure that's about a foot. That's about another foot. And we need 2 feet 8 inches to the left. And then if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, right about there. So let's give it a whirl. Well, we were close. We lagged it up there really well.
One over on the day.
And we got a par. Now, the reason why EA was able to put games like this out in the early 2000s, again, was because they got the license and they made the agreement with Tiger Woods that he would be the face of it. And again, this was at the time when Tiger was still dominating the PGA. He was dominating the entire sport of golf, really, and could do no wrong. This was before his well-documented and very precipitous fall from grace, as well as the accumulation of the injuries that have essentially retired him from the sport, save a few occasional tournament appearances in majors and whatnot. So we're going to go with the 9-iron. We're going to move it over this way a little bit. Ooh, and this is a good one. Takes the hop. We'll roll on up.
That's just incredible.
And we're 5 feet from the pin.
It usually does.
So this time we want to go about 3 inches left, which is about there, and about 6 inches short. Now what you want to do is essentially, how I do it is, if you just hold down the directional button and count 1 second, 2 seconds, that essentially gives you about a foot's worth of distance one way or the other. So it's not a hard system to figure out. It just takes a little bit of guessing and a bit of refinement. And then you'll find really quickly that you can start knocking balls in from pretty much anywhere on the green.
Good ball here, David. This should work out great.
So let's see what we have here for Got 152 yards. So now we can back it up a little bit. Where we can go with an 8-iron instead because we've got a strong enough wind and we're above the hole. And this is going to matriculate right on down. Ooh, is it going to go in? Is it going to go in? It's in the hole for an eagle.
Well, would you look at that? Here's a trophy ball for you.
And this was one of the first games that had
Your favorite kind of bird.
the
Here's the eagle
trophy stuff that is now so very commonplace in most
Hey, you
games.
hit the pin. Something that cool has to be worth a trophy ball.
And you can build up quite a collection in this game of trophy balls for doing different stuff. Like you hit your first hole in one, you get a trophy ball. But to me, this was where this game was really fun, where you could get the ability to start knocking shots like that. And it was a bit rewarding, granted. I mean, we're playing a video game version of actual golf, but try doing that in real life with a golf club in your hand, and it's not nearly as easy as this game makes it look. Now, you could also argue that in some ways that makes it too easy, but you can up the difficulty, and not every course is designed to be cut and dry. Like I said, when you get to the major courses, the degree of difficulty goes up quite a bit.
Trying to put a little extra mustard on this swing.
Now this one is going to be, it's a par 3, so we're not going to get there in 2. Although, the further along the game you go, you can unlock better equipment, you can upgrade your stats, you can build yourself up and do more stuff. So, holes like this one where you have to take 3 shots, you can then get there in 2. So I want to try this about 3/4 of an angle. I think I hit that one short.
Might just hang on.
That'll roll on up. So it's not going to be a great shot, but... So to give you an idea of where Tiger Woods was at this point in his career by the time 2005 came along. He had already won the Masters 3 times. He had won the PGA Championship twice. He won the U.S. Open twice, and he'd won the British Open once. In 2005 alone, he would win the Masters for the 3rd time, or the 4th time rather, and would win the British Open for the 2nd time. As we drop that one in the jar. He was rated, Tiger was the PGA Tour Player of the Year 11 times. He was the leading money winner 11 times. And if you know anything about him, you know he was very much a prodigy, and that his breaking onto the world stage in the sport of golf was essentially foretold from the time he went on what is now a little-known talk show back in the 70s called the Mike Douglas Show, where if I remember right, he was, I can't imagine, more than 5 years old.
What's the situation?
And he was on with his dad and was hitting balls like he was a pro. And throughout his high school career, throughout his college career, and leading up to when he went pro in 1996, everybody was looking at him to say, okay, is he going to be the real deal? And for the first, what I would say, 15 to 20 years of his career, he very much was. And then some. You know, there was speculation that Tiger was going to be the most successful golfer in history. And to that point,
That's just incredible.
the gold standard was Jack Nicklaus, who was also colloquially nicknamed the Golden Bear.
3 under for the championship.
So now we're at 3 under as we have started the back 9.
This par.
We'll torch this one.
Get any straighter than this.
Now we do not want to put it in the drink. So we are going to scale this back to a 5 or a 2 iron. I was going to say a 5 wood.
Need more club on this shot. It's going to be short.
Yeah, I know it's going to be short. That was the point. You have to think strategically about this stuff, because if you let it roll too far,
Looks to be about 110 yards to the flagstick.
you can put it in the water, and then you're in real trouble.
This isn't looking good, I'm afraid.
Well, we put it
Looks
short.
playable from here.
So now we got to see about pitching it on. And this is for
I see a break
par.
to the right. How about you?
So 9 inches to the left, 11 inches short. So about there and about there. Oh, and we just ran it along the lip. And the computer will go ahead and tap it in. So we're back to 2 under. But we're actually tied for second on the scoreboard, which is a good place to be in.
All right, simple enough. The par 3 12.
Now, you do get on each hole, you get these flybys that give you an idea of how the hole is laid out and what you need to look for. I tend not to worry about that stuff, because I just want to be able to get through the round. Now, because we were shooting into the wind, I don't think this is going to be enough. Yeah, it's going to be short. But I didn't want to overextend it. Can I get the touch right? No. Way overshot the pin.
Miss this and you're looking at a bogey.
So it's a 25-footer for par. We got to go 10 inches right, which should be about there. And 1, 2. I'd say about there should be about 2 feet 8 inches. Now, if you're in the ballpark, it can be just as helpful
A bogey there.
as being exactly on. So, yeah, while you want to get it exactly right, it doesn't mean you actually have to be so meticulous about it that if you're off by like an inch or so, it's not going to matter. Okay, so now I do not want to put it in the water from there.
This could be heading for a sandy landing.
And we can put it in the sand. I'll deal with that because I don't want to put it in the water.
Sand.
Okay, so, and it's buried, so we just want to pop it up, get it over that little waterway, and okay. So now, see if we can pop it on the green here.
Unless I'm seriously mistaken.
Ooh,
that'll
we
be on the
overshot
beach.
it. Not good. We almost put it in the hole for
Couldn't
par.
land any better.
So 3 inches right, 6 inches short. Oh, we lipped it again.
That's a very painful double bogey.
So our eagle is gone, and we're back to one over rather, and we are now tied for 24th, where we were tied for second. We would now be in a tie for the lead if we hadn't lost all that stuff. All right, so we got to shoot it over the drink and get it here. So let's see if we can pull this off.
Look at this. Look at this.
Ooh, an absolutely
All
perfect
right, I'll take
shot.
that. We're
Something
8
you're
feet away.
completely unfamiliar with, McCord.
Now, when it's like this, I like to go take the smallest number first. We'll back it up a little bit, and then say right about there.
Well, obviously this
But
was
not enough. So we'll tap it in for par. We're still one over going to 15.
Fifteen is a
15 is a golf hole. I know how this works.
This is exactly what he was trying to do here.
Now, as you up the difficulty range, you can make it where you can hit a lot more errant shots. And because it's all based on your ability to draw the stick straight back and go straight forward with it, that's the critical thing. Because if you are off, if say like if you go straight back, but you go up and to the right, then the ball is going, or your shot is going to send the ball off into the right. So 6 inches right. So right about there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit more. Oh, we were a lot shorter than that. So, 1, 2.
Even par 4.
But we drop it in the hole for the birdie. So we're back to even with 3 holes to go.
the 16th hole.
This is looking good.
So we'll blast this one down the fairway. Now, again, the reason why I wanted to play this game is because right now going on over in Rome, Italy is what's called the Ryder Cup. And the Ryder Cup happens every 4 years. And it's between the U.S. and predominantly Europe, but it's essentially the rest of the world, where they play in teams against each other to win what's called the Ryder Cup. And from what I've seen so far, the U.S. team has been getting their backside handed to them most thoroughly here on the first day
Done on the lawn, I believe.
by the Europeans. And Tiger Woods played in the Ryder Cup a couple of times and did okay, but it wasn't. It's not like playing in an actual tournament where one player will win the whole thing. It's you want to do well enough for your team that your side accumulates points by winning matches.
1 under on today's round.
All right, we're back to 1 under. As we go to the 17th hole, now we're in 6th. So as long as the top of the leaderboard stays the way it is, we get one more birdie, we will end this round
17th is
potentially in a tie for
Come on,
first.
let's see if that weight training's paying off. Go for the green.
So we're going to see if we can go for the green here. We definitely hit the shot the way we wanted to. This will hop up. It will roll onto the green. We're going to have a long putt for eagle. but we are at least in range of getting a birdie, if not an eagle, if we can set this up right. I think this hits us a trophy ball because we drove a par 4 in 1, which for a long time you couldn't really do in golf, but the way that clubs are designed, the way golf balls are designed, and the way courses are designed now, it's a lot easier than people realize. So we want to go 2 feet left. So 1, 2, and about 1 foot 7 inch short. So I'd say right about there. Ears open. Well, we were closer this time, but now we have a tap in for birdie, and we're back to 2 under, and we are tied atop the leaderboard going to the last hole in the round.
The final hole at
So now we just got to get it down and on the green, preferably with a birdie, but no worse than par. And we'll go to the clubhouse, tied atop the leaderboard. Alright, and because we're hitting into the wind and a 2-iron won't get us that far, we got to go about 90%.
3-wood's an interesting choice here.
Can we get it to roll? Yep, we're going to get it to run. It's going to be a long putt, but it's better than nothing.
It's on the green, but it should be a tough putt, though.
So we're about 40 feet away.
If this falls, we'll have a new leader.
Let's see what the caddy gives us for a tip. Sometimes for a putt like this, they won't give you one. Okay, so about 2 feet long. So right about there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a little more just to be on the safe side. Let's see what we do here. Is it in the hole? Oh, we almost put in the hole.
I mean, you can't do it better than that.
That we got that cut scene was enough that I thought we had it, but I mean, you can't get it closer than that. So we shoot a first round 69. If we wanted to keep going, we would play the other 3 rounds and see obviously what we can do to post the lowest possible score and win the tournament. But we're not going to do that for today. But that, everybody, is Tiger Woods Golf from 2005 for the PS2, as well as a game that is playable on the Xbox, the PC, the GameCube, the DS, the PSP. I mean, it was on pretty much every major console and game platform that you could have back in the day. Now, let's wrap this up as quick as we can because we still have some housekeeping stuff to do. So, is it a good game? If you like golf, then yes. I would say this was being able to play a golf video game really at the peak of having a full package, which EA was still doing with games outside of Madden. And even then, Madden at this time had a lot of stuff going for it as well in terms of giving you the ability to have a lot more depth in terms of having franchises and players and things that just aren't available now because they've all been wiped off the map in favor of HUD and microtransactions and all the stuff that people really hold against EA. Let me save this really quick. Now, is it a game worth going back and revisiting? I would say if you are nostalgic for it, sure, why not? But is it a game that you have to play to be able to like? to enjoy. Not really. I mean, it's again like games that I have profiled on WTF Wednesday. It's one that is definitely made for a certain niche. It's for people who know golf and to a degree like golf, but if you have no interest in it and you're not looking to do something like this, then you're not going to get anything out of it. There's nothing completely over the top about it. There's nothing really crazy about it. It is just a really well constructed golf simulator. So I don't expect a lot of people to be falling all over themselves together to watch this or to, you know, pull this up on their emulator and play it. But if you were ever curious about it, then you may find it's a game that you could very well like. So give it a try if you want. Again, I'm playing it on PC SXR2, which is a free emulator. And being able to find the ROM isn't that difficult. So, and let me know what you think down in the comments below. Now, to the housekeeping. Because this is episode 40, and as we've been talking for a while, we are going to put this series on hiatus starting next week. And Sucker Punch Sunday, which will be airing tomorrow, will also go on hiatus after tomorrow. Because now that we have hit the 200 episode threshold, we have had to make a decision on if we are going to commit to our poll question, which has been on our community page for about 2 months. And thank you to everybody who voted to see whether or not you wanted to see me, Ronan, a first-generation 40-something-year-old gamer, finally dive into the Soulsborne universe, specifically to play Dark Souls Remastered. We are going to go ahead and do that. But those episodes are going to take the place of Sports Saturday and Sucker Punch Sunday on the weekends. So we're still going to record them. They're still going to go out, but they will be airing on Saturday and Sunday for the duration of that playthrough. We are also getting ready to do our next standard playthrough, which will be coming up here, if not next week, the week after. We'll get started on that. I actually had a title picked out, and I had started recording episodes, but honestly, the game ended up not being anywhere near what I had hoped it would be, even though it was a game I had played before, and without giving anything away. It is one where I'm going to have to try it from a slightly different approach. So, you know, keep an eye and an ear out for that. We will have more events or more news on that as events warrant. In the meantime, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Threads at Ronan's Retrocade. Help spread the word about us so we can hit our goal of 100 subscribers as soon as we can. We have topped the 70 subscriber threshold, and huge thanks to everybody who has done so. We've essentially seen our numbers double in the last 2 months alone, which is really positive and really helpful for us to make sure that we are putting content out there that you want to see and gives us reason to want to keep making this channel bigger and better. Also, of note, we are going to be expanding our roster of game consoles that we will be airing games on. So, you will be able to pick from not only the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, Sega Master System, the SNK Neo-Geo, the Nintendo 64, the PlayStation 1, or the PlayStation 2, but we are also now going to be incorporating the Sega Saturn and the Sega Dreamcast. We have an emulator now that is stable enough that we can start putting those games together, and we will be putting out content on those further down the line, but we will now have a wider catalog of games that we can choose from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation, so keep an eye out for those as well. But we have talked enough here as we're near 45 minutes on this episode of Sports Saturday. So as always, my name is Ronan. It has been great to spend the Saturday with you. Be safe, be well, happy gaming, and we will talk to you tomorrow for episode 40 and episode 200 on our channel for Sucker Punch Sunday. Bye.